If you're going to autocross your Mustang, be prepared to pilot your pony through a slew of sweepers. Long sweeping turns are common at autocross events. At some sites, sweepers can be super fast. Attacking a sweeper correctly can help you leave your competition in the dust. This event was held on the .526-mile oval track that's become one of my favorite autocross venues. Today's course features two super fast sweepers that can make or break my runs. That gives me a great opportunity to share some tips for finding speed in sweepers. This video shows my first and fastest runs and details my strategy for getting my Mustang through sweepers as fast as possible. I'm in the middle of installing a BMR K-member and A-arms on my 2004 V6. So I'm back behind the wheel of the Tumbler, my IRS-swapped 2000 GT convertible. I'm up against 4 other talented drivers in Cam T. It's 80 degrees and sunny. The course is a fast, fun mix of full tilt elements, technical sections, and traps. Let's take a look at the course on my first run. My 315 Rival S 1.5 tires are set at 28 psi. .578. That was a pretty fast run, but I can definitely find a lot more speed in the two sweepers. Let's go through some basic sweeper tips, and then I'll cover the specific sweepers I'm dealing with today. Every time I attack a sweeper, I break it down into 3 sections: the entry, the middle, and the exit. In each section, there are opportunities to find speed or lose time. When entering a sweeper, I focus on aggression and adjustments. I want to enter the sweeper as fast as I can without understeering. Overcooking the entry can push me off the line and force me to make a correction that costs time. Depending on the design of the sweeper, I can also understeer into cones. If I need to shift some weight forward to help the car turn into the sweeper, I have to determine if I need to use the brakes or if a partial throttle lift will suffice. If I can eliminate braking and still enter the sweeper without understeering, I'll be faster. It all depends on how much of an adjustment I need to make to get into the sweeper. My entry impacts how aggressive I can be in the middle of the sweeper. If I'm composed entering the sweeper, I can be aggressive in the middle of the sweeper. If my entry is messy, I'll be cleaning up that mess in the middle section instead of attacking. In the middle of a sweeper, my goal is to get to the limit of traction without losing traction. I want to run a smooth line that doesn't add distance or choke off speed and sets me up to exit in the correct position to attack the next element. I need to avoid making unnecessary steering inputs that slow me down, and I have to manage my throttle inputs so I don't push past the limit of rear traction and lose time by going sideways. I always want to optimize my exit. My level of aggression exiting a sweeper will be determined by the element after the sweeper. I think of a sweeper like a highway on-ramp. If there's traffic on the highway, a slower element after the sweeper, I have to be less aggressive. If there's no traffic on the highway, a faster element after the sweeper, I can be more aggressive. My course walks will help me get a sense of how fast I can exit the sweepers. But looking ahead on my runs also plays a big part. I can find a lot of time if the element after the sweeper is as fast or faster than the sweeper. If I don't realize that the element after the sweeper is slower than the sweeper, I can overcook the element, DNF, or hit cones. Both sweepers on this course are super fast. The entry into the first sweeper is fast. Before I get there, I need to lift off of the throttle a little to help me turn around the left cone in the gate to the right. But I can immediately get back on the gas and accelerate aggressively into the sweeper. The middle is very fast, and the banking will help me attack harder. I need to run the correct line and be very aggressive in the middle of the first sweeper. The exit is fast because there's a short section after the sweeper that's a little faster. But the offset cones are slower than the short section after the first sweeper. I can be very aggressive into and through the first sweeper and accelerate out of the first sweeper. But I need to be prepared to slow down for the offset cones. The second sweeper is after a pivot cone. I need to get back up to speed quickly. There's a speed adjustment needed on entry, but using the brakes will cost me time. A partial throttle lift will help me turn around this cone. Then I can get right back on the gas and aggressively attack the middle of the second sweeper as long as I run the correct line. The exit of the second sweeper is super fast, and the chute after the second sweeper is even faster. There's a ton of speed to be found here. If I don't overcook the entry, I can get the car right up to the limit of traction in the middle. If I don't go sideways in the middle, I can attack the exit as I unwind the steering wheel and accelerate into and through the first chute. If I execute my strategy properly, I'll find some serious speed in both sweepers. If I make a mistake in any section of either sweeper, I might not take home a trophy. Let's see how I did on my fastest run. My tires are set at 25 psi for my fifth run. .293, 1.285 seconds faster than my first run. I was faster in the technical sections and I avoided the traps, but most of that time was found in the sweepers. I entered aggressively without understeering, I was hard on the throttle in the middle without losing traction, and I optimized my exit to make sure I could attack the next element. But did I find my way to the top of the CAMT podium? First place by exactly 1 second. And my raw time was 34th out of 112 drivers. If your stallion has to scurry through a sweeper at your next autocross event, breaking it down into sections, concentrating on the correct line, and applying the right amount of aggression will help you run faster times.